Internet, and welcome to another TADPOG podcast, a weekly show where two old guys talk about old games. I'm your bearded host, Tyler, and while hanging out with my friend Josh Nance the other day...
Of Uniracers fame.
Of Uniracers fame. He plugged my HDMI through my laptop into his TV, and we were surfing the internet and watching videos and shit.
Yeah.
And we watched a 90s cartoon montage.
Okay.
Like all the theme songs from 90s cartoons.
Nice.
I was like, I remember that one. But when I watched them, the first thing that came to mind was I remember all like the fucked up episodes of all those cartoon series. It's weird that they wouldn't do cartoons now like they did cartoons in the 90s because they had like some really weird moments.
They wouldn't kill Morph in the first episode?
Exactly. That's one of them. And I remember gummy bears. Like, it's fun. Oh, they're running from the ogres, and that one got one gummy berry juice. But eventually, then they want to start finding all their other tribes that are lost, and they find, like, a lost gummy city that gives clues where all the gummies are, and they're all dead. They found out, like, every tribe but them, they're all dead. They're on the edge of extinction, gummy bears.
Is that in an episode?
That's in an episode.
Like one episode?
Yeah.
Like they just dump all that shit?
I remember that weird shit. And then, like, the Smurf bastardization, the Snorks.
Yeah.
I remember...
Underwater Smurfs.
Underwater Smurfs,
right.
Essentially. I remember there's an episode where, like, they're all freshwater Smurfs, and then...
Snorks?
Snorks.
Okay.
Snorkels, and a saltwater one gets like swept in from the ocean into the freshwater.
Okay.
And they watch him progressively die because he's a saltwater snork. Like, I think they get him out at the end, but you watch this snork wither away.
Okay, that's not too bad.
But it's something like when I was like 6, like, what's this guy doing?
Right.
Darkwing Duck. This is one of the more disturbing ones.
Let's get dangerous.
There's an episode where Goslin runs away. And of course, then like I forget what the MacGuffin was that allows her to see what would happen if she ran away. Well, she runs away. Darkwing Duck thinks she's dead, and he goes fucking insane.
I remember that episode.
And he goes all Punisher.
Yeah.
And forms like the totalitarian police state society where he's sending people to be hanged for jaywalking. Like they're...
I recall that.
That's a fucking
I thought about it a long time.
Yeah. And then the last one I remembered was Tailspin. That's where Rebecca's like her husband like dies or leaves her, so she's like a single mom.
Right.
And there's this. She finds a ghost who is like she falls in love with the ghost. The ghost loves her, and they're content and happy together.
Yeah.
Like she's not alone anymore. But Baloo gets jealous and kills the ghost. Banishes the ghost. Like it's fading away. Like Rebecca's crying, and they're reaching out for each other, and Baloo's like, oh, Tailspin. So yeah.
How do you remember all those?
I don't remember the fucked up episodes.
I don't remember specific episodes really of any of that. It's just all like kind of a blur where it's like I just associate that with after school and fruit snacks. Like other than that, it's just kind of up in the air.
I know fucked up 90s cartoon shows, the sexual history of all my friends, and like who fingered who in middle school. That is fucking locked up in the vault.
Kind of falls under the third one. Kind of falls under the second one.
Yeah.
So really, you know two things.
I know two things. All of our guests are like, no.
And I'm Dave, your bespectacled host. I don't have really anything interesting to say because for the last, probably looking at the clock, last 3 hours I've been trying to get our audio right. Because you may have noticed that the last two episodes, maybe they sound a little rough. That's because we were in Atlanta in a submarine.
For 2 weeks, I was very into pleasure baths. And that's just what it did. Like, if you want to record, you got to put me in the bathtub.
But I think we're good now. Hopefully this sounds a lot better.
Yep.
If not, it's fucking free, I guess. Get over it.
I've got a mini story we can talk about that we saw on the way to Atlanta and from Atlanta.
Okay.
On I-24, going from Paducah, Kentucky to Atlanta, Georgia, we saw on the side of the road, I passed this various part of the road many, many times, came back and forth from culinary school. And there's a little side road that it's been closed. It
for
just
years.
Says, as long as I can remember, it's
for
been a
years.
decade, road closed. Nothing's over there.
And it's just a fork right off of the interstate. Like it's the weirdest thing.
I don't know why. Maybe they were going to build a rest station there and they abandoned it.
Maybe.
But that road, just this busted ass road is there, road closed.
So what's out there? What's out there?
You and I were driving by, and like I look over, and two porta potties side by side.
And not just side by side, like butted up against each other.
Two like new blue porta-johns. It's like, there's no road construction going on. There's nothing out here. There's just two porta potties side by side. It's probably a roadside glory hole.
Yeah.
That's what we're thinking.
Yeah.
Dave and I talked about the possibility of the roadside glory hole.
Which is a really weird glory hole because you got to see the guy going in, right? It's not like it's super anonymous. It's just kind of like having sex through a hole in a sheet, essentially.
Is there a code on Craigslist for this spot? Like, see you at the road closed. I don't know. If you've been in the roadside glory hole, listeners,
Please.
let us know. Is it a roadside glory hole? Is this a place to hold your, like, friends can shit and hold hands? I don't know. Either way.
So, you know what we do on this show?
What do we do, Dave?
Well, we
talk about glory holes and cartoons.
We talk about cartoon murder. We vent our frustrations that no one cares about. And yes, we talk about road closed glory holes. We also...
Occasionally
we play our way through IGN's top 100 Super Nintendo games, and we muse about our experiences, Tyler, right here on this show. This week, we are talking about IGN's, 77th ranked?
77th.
Game Shadowrun. Shadowrun, Tyler.
Shadowrun. Before we break down Shadowrun, you been playing anything else this week?
I have, which is amazing because I did play a lot of Shadowrun this week.
Yeah.
Because it is a long game, but we'll get into that. Here's what I'm doing. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I got a little bit of lead up. This month is Immature Gaming Month for me.
Nice.
And it's because I listened to the episode, our BioShock special episode, which I think is a great episode. But the whole time I was thinking, I need to play some games that sound a lot less pretentious than this. And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, when's the last time I just played a game that is just a game? It's not like an indie darling, and it's not like this lauded video game is art kind of thing. Like, when's the last time I've just played a stupid ass game? So I'm starting this month of immature gaming, and I kicked it off with Deadpool.
I was wondering this because I know you love Deadpool.
I do.
So I know you probably have the most critical eye of this game of anybody I know.
Interesting you say that, because my whole thing with this is this game, if you don't read Deadpool, if you don't like the character, obviously, it's probably not for you, because it's not a super great game. It is a mediocre game as far as gameplay goes and all that. However, Daniel Way, the guy who wrote the last volume of Deadpool, wrote this game, so it nails the character on every front. So if you like Deadpool, you probably will like the game. It's funny. It's written like the comics are written.
So we're not English majors. It's fine.
Not by a long shot. What about you?
Well, mostly I've been binging our TADPOG games. Like I started and beat Shadowrun in about 2.5 days. And I've been playing a lot of Shadowrun. I caught up on Dexter, so I watched 2 seasons of Dexter, 1 season of Mad Men, and just played Shadowrun. So how long does it take to beat Shadowrun? 2 seasons of Dexter and an episode of Mad Men. That's exactly how long it is. I got further in Metroid Fusion. I remember why I didn't finish it.
Oh yeah? Why is that?
Because it was so fun to a point, and then suddenly it's like Samus just becomes made of glass. And it becomes a very frustrating game.
Glass cannon, man.
Yeah, you nailed it to a T. They get kind of cheap with it. Like suddenly, power goes out. Now you can't save or restore any of your shit. And so you have to farm your health, which is very tedious and gets frustrating very quickly. And the enemies start hitting way harder.
Yeah.
Feels like they're just milking it for time now.
Right.
And I remember that this was the point I stopped when I was playing it when it came out.
That's sad.
I will finish it. Supposedly it's even shorter than I thought. Metroid Zero Mission was really short, like 7 hours. This is supposedly like very easily doable in 2 to 4.
Wow, that is short.
So yeah, like the best ending is like a close up of Samus's tits if you get everything in under 4 hours.
Really?
Yep.
That seems like I need to add it to my month of immature games.
Well, because if you get under 100% over 4 hours, it's Samus like in her suit with like a thumbs up. Then depending on like the closer you get to 100 within a certain time frame, she'll start losing clothes until like the best one is her.
No, you're kidding.
The best one is her
kidding.
Supposedly in a bikini, and there's like a watermark of her close up of her tits behind her, and she's like waving to you if you get everything very quickly.
Oh my god.
So
This is so funny.
There you go.
Strong female leads in video games, folks.
Yep.
Well, Tyler,
Yes, Dave.
I do this little thing on the show. You may like it, you may not like it. I don't know. But it's a little segment I like to call Dave Reads from Wikipedia.
Please. Well, I love it.
And I'd like to read from Wikipedia so that if anyone listening isn't familiar with Shadowrun, they can get a little familiarity and they can also just kind of relax and we'll know that everything's fine because we have Wikipedia as a society.
It's true. Which I read on Reddit, it's as accurate as Encyclopedia Britannica.
Oh.
Yeah.
I read on Dig that Reddit is not very reliable.
Oh, shit.
Dig's still around, right? I don't know. Wikipedia's around.
It's true.
And here's what they had to say about Shadowrun.
All right.
Shadowrun, Tyler, is a cyberpunk fantasy action role-playing video game for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. It's adapted from, you may have heard of this thing called tabletop role-playing. Yeah, it's adapted from one of those things. I think that is what turns teenagers into devil worshippers.
That's true.
They go out into the woods and they carve anarchy symbols into the trees.
So Megan and I met. She exercised me after playing too much tabletop. Yeah.
This video game was developed by an Australian company, Beam Software, and it was released in 1993 by Data East.
So it's impressive scope for early Super Nintendo.
Yeah, it really is. You said that you finished the game.
I did.
I am jealous because I did not finish the game. I wanted to, but I ran out of time.
Yeah. A lot of people were excited for us to talk about Shadowrun. A few people in particular. But I remember like months ago, Jacob York was like, all right, you guys, I really want to do Shadowrun. So I was like, all right. And the little stone tablet that I keep, and I chisel people's names in when they want to guest host.
Right.
Chisel Jacob's name in there. Had several people ask about it. Like, no, sorry, Jacob's called it. Well, I miscounted, thinking we were going to do Shadowrun and went to Atlanta. And I was like, oh, no, do you want to do Mutant Apocalypse? And he was so thankful. I've never seen someone who was so excited just fucking relinquish those reins so quickly.
Not a fan of Shadowrun?
Maybe he had fonder memories of it than he thought he did. Then
Yeah.
when he sat down, he's like, nope, it's a retro game. You have to take a step back into a different time period to play it. And then the first I'd ever heard of Shadowrun was from Ramon. Ramon introduced me to
Of
D&D,
Super Bomberman 2
of Super
fame.
Bomberman 2 fame and Calling in fame. He's introduced me to D&D 3.0, D&D 3.5, which molded my life for filled college classes and thousands of dollars spent on accessories. But I recall something he used to do to relax in college was take a walk around the campus. And I remember taking a walk around the campus, like very excitedly, because I just started D&D and I was so excited about it, talking with him about it. And then he tried telling me, he's like, oh man, if you love D&D, you're going to love Shadowrun. Let me tell you about it. And then I just zoned out.
Why?
It's like he had just served me this like delicious steak.
Yeah.
And like I'm just cutting into it, starting to eat it before he's trying to take it away. He's like, no, I got this thing better than. I'm like, no, I'm not done with this yet. So he told me very excitedly back then about the tabletop game and the video game. So that's the only exposure I had before I sat down with this game was him talking about how great it was.
Now you say the video game. I'm curious. I assume Ramon was talking about the Super Nintendo game.
Yeah, he never told me which one exactly he was talking about, but yeah, it had to be Super Nintendo and not the Sega Mega Drive.
Yeah, Genesis. There was a Genesis version, which apparently was different.
Yeah.
I haven't played it, so I was just curious. Have you played it?
I have not.
I am kind of interested in checking it out because I actually enjoyed Shadowrun for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I was surprised because when I started looking into it, it looked like from the screenshots and everything, it looked like a game that I was not going to enjoy at all. Mainly because there's a cursor that you have to move around with the D-pad. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, this is going to suck
That
so bad.
never works out well.
But
You get used to it.
Yeah.
It's a little clunky. You have to buy some in-game items to help you out a little bit. They're really fucking expensive, but you can get around it. It's kind of, it's just clunky, but it gets better.
what in-game items are there? I don't think I ran across
the boosted reflexes
that you can
buy.
See, I didn't have enough money.
That makes
Nuyen
Nuyen.
is the currency.
It makes all the enemies pause for a moment when you encounter them to give you enough time to move your cursor to them.
Right, in battle, that finger cursor turns into a targeting reticule. Is that what, yeah, right.
Sure.
Yeah. John Turley. If it's not what you call it, let us know.
And then having to switch back and forth because you have your aiming cursor, you have your button cursor, and you have your magic cursor. And you have to back out. So if you have your target on somebody across the screen shooting them,
right,
and you want to cast a spell on yourself or control an ally, resets the cursor. You have to reset it back to you and then drag it back to do something else, then reset it to you again, and then try to shoot the person again. Meanwhile, they've just been unloading on you the whole time.
I guess that's the action part of the action RPG, which is just a little bit different than I'm used to. An action RPG, I'm used to swinging a sword and not aiming a reticule. We'll keep calling it that.
I guess let's backtrack, start more at the beginning so people understand.
Okay.
Because you start off, you're Jake Armitage, and you're in a cyberpunk kind of... The world is evolved into like 6 mega corporations.
Right. Government's gone. Replaced with megacorps.
And everything between the corporations is just in a state of decay. It's either the ultimate expression of wealth distribution. You're either at the very top or at the very bottom. There's no in between anymore.
Dystopian future.
Yep. Which I dig anyway. So it already like reading about it, I was like, okay, good. So you start off as Jake.
Tell me what happens the first time you meet Jake.
Well, he wakes up is he in his apartment?
Well, here's what I knew I was going to like this game. Actually, I was on the fence when I saw this. Jake's in the street, and you see a dog run up. And it's like, what the fuck's going to go on? What's this dog? And the dog turns into a person and does something to Jake and turns back into a dog and runs off the screen. In that moment, I was like, I'm either really going to like this game or really hate this game. Jake gets up and has no memory of what's going on. So the dog resurrects him.
Okay. Well, then I guess you see the morgue, and 2 people are like, oh, this guy got his brain fried, and they slide the morgue drawer back and then step out of the room, and then you slide the morgue drawer back out and stand up.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I remember that scene. Maybe the dog...
Is that just like the intro at the very beginning?
Yeah. It's the intro before any gameplay. Maybe the dog doesn't resurrect you. He just casts a spell on your dead body.
Keeps you alive.
That resurrects you later in the morgue. I don't know.
But you get up and you wander around trying to get your bearings. I sort of have this problem with all games, I've talked about it before, where there's like that few hours of I had to push through because I'm still in the mindset of my last game that I've played.
Yeah.
So for this, it took me a good 2 hours probably to get into it.
Really?
Because I was like, oh, fuck this cursor, and I'm walking around. I don't know where the fuck I'm supposed to go. It reminded me of early Final Fantasies in their regard, like, how the fuck am I supposed to know where I'm supposed to go?
Right.
Like
that is true.
You have to talk to somebody, look for these bold words, then ask them about the bold word, go find somebody else and be like, hey, what about this bold word?
Man, I liked it right off the bat when you wake up in the morgue, because I immediately, when you scare the 2 morticians...
Ah, zombie!
And they run into the room and lock themselves in the room, I was like, I am in. Because this game is obviously 2 things: dark and humorous. And those are 2 things that I really like. But yeah, you're dead on with like, they don't lead you around by the nose to tell you the story. Dude, it probably took me, no exaggeration, 2 hours to find a gun.
Yeah, it frustrated me because I didn't know how to equip the gun. Because you wake up, I got the slap patch. I found the slap patch immediately. And I was like, okay, good, health item. I'll use this. Not knowing that you'd...
Wasted.
Yeah, right. I totally wasted. You're supposed to use it on a guy later.
It's essentially a potion.
Yeah. So like I'm running around just getting shot. I don't have any like, how do I fire my gun? What the... All right, okay, I need a firearm. Thanks, punk kid that ran up to tell me I need to get a gun and runs off.
Yeah, or you get fragged.
Yep.
Well, what's interesting is the reason I had a hard time finding the gun is because it's tucked away in this like dark alley that like as soon as you go down, like you get a menacing voice tells you to get out before you die. So I got out.
Yeah, the music changes to something more
dramatic.
Because I was like,
I am not prepared for this.
All right, I'm not supposed to be here yet. I don't have a gun.
Exactly. So I explored the whole rest of that fucking map like twice over. And then I finally get to the point where it's like, I guess I'm going to go down that alley and see what's down there. And there's just one guy. There's just one guy. And then a gun.
I'll start up with my one big qualm about the game.
Yeah.
That if they had included this, I feel like the game would have been a much better experience.
Not enough Samus boobs.
Not enough Samus. Just more up close of Samus.
Clearly, we need
just a fucking map to look at.
Yeah.
Give me an overworld map that I can just click and see the neighborhood.
Yeah, it is interesting. I finally got to the point in this game where I get in Grand Theft Auto games where it's just like, oh yeah, my apartment's here. And I like started memorizing Seattle of 2050. It's just like, this is knowledge that I'm going to have forever now. Thanks.
But then when you find that dead body, you grab his gun. I had 3 guns in the course of the whole game.
Yeah.
That's it.
I never
you can buy
got
a
rid
lot
of that.
more, but
I never got rid of the Beretta.
Oh, really?
I didn't get far enough, apparently. I saw some for sale. Tyler, in this game, I never had enough money.
money is
Never had
that's
enough
true.
money.
Money is so fucking tedious to farm. You just get a little bit off your enemies. You have to either hack computers to get sizable chunks,
Yeah.
or compete in the sort of the competition in the car ways.
Yeah, there's an arena in the car yard where, yeah, I made a lot of money there, but the problem was I got to the point in those arena fights where it's like, I can't win.
Yeah.
Like, I can't win even if I grind and gain more skills and all that. Which I think that's interesting also, is that you don't level up. When you kill something, you gain karma, like Reddit. And much like Reddit, you trade the karma in to boost your mental and physical
Something that
attributes.
has no intrinsic value to who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's no levels. You just boost your skills and your attributes.
And it's something I found out too late, like the firearms skill. You can, I think, raise it to like 16.
I think the skills go to 20.
It caps off at 7 for firearms.
Like, it doesn't let you go above 7?
No, you can go above 7, but actually hits 100 at 7. So any points you put in firearms over 7, you just wasted that karma. So that pissed me off.
Yeah, that seems
Especially
broken.
at having such a high cap. I give it being like 10.
Right.
But it was so fucking high. Like, you could waste 60 karma for
Is
no
that a
reason.
bug? That seems
No
like
reason.
a bug and not a design decision.
Yeah, it's something they must have like been off by.
Because that sounds like
point.
a Final Fantasy VI style, wearing a drill as a helm.
You go from there to just walking around the city, and you call your ex-girlfriend. Like, you have to go to find your old apartment, and you find her phone number.
Right.
And then you have to go to find like a credit stick that allows you to make phone calls.
Yes.
And then find a working phone, and you call your girlfriend. And she's oh, I thought you were dead. I'm already fucking somebody else.
Right.
Like, everything you ask her about, bye Jake, bye Jake.
Yeah, she got over Jake pretty quick. I'm just saying, I didn't finish the game, so I don't know who fucked him over, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was her.
Some guy you never meet that she know, like Glutman.
Oh.
Like, you never meet him. He's always out of his office.
No,
But-
you do. That's the guy in the club. That's the guy
That's
who brings you
fat
to the
guy?
car yard. Yeah.
I thought that was someone different. Okay, never mind. I was wrong.
And I'm glad you bring him up because, man, I had a frustration involving this guy, this Glutman guy. He wasn't showing up in the club. And I was like, I don't know. Like, everything says that he should be here. Because, like, I'm talking to people in the club asking about him. And, like, one of the waitresses is like, oh, he's over on the couch. His normal spot. I'm like, okay. So I go over to the couch. There's no one there. There is no one on the couch. So now I'm like outside of my head. I'm like, is he invisible? Is like, do I need to do, like, I'm going through all my items. Like, do I need to like sprinkle some dust of appearance or something on this guy? I couldn't find anything. So eventually I go back to the video phone and call his number. And he's not in his office. So his secretary answers. I ask to speak to him. I ask his secretary to speak to him. She says he's not in the office. He is at the club. So I'm like, okay, well, apparently he really is at the club. I walk back to the couch and now he's there. I was pissed because that was an hour.
That's a very old RPG thing to do.
Yeah.
Very, very much. On the way to that club, you pass the graveyard.
You do.
And there are all sorts of... This is something I would not have known. I would have never known about this and would have just missed a huge part of the game. Like going there, farming the ghouls.
Yes.
To get karma, money, and a ghoul bone.
Yes, I found a ghoul bone.
I spent an hour and a half before one dropped for me.
See, I like this because this would have been perfect for like me to play as a kid and you to play as a kid.
Yeah, you're taking
like,
one of my note points.
Oh, am I?
No.
And like talk about it on the playground, like shit like that.
Yeah.
Because like, do you remember when games were like that? And it wasn't like you didn't go on the internet to like look shit
You had
up.
to call Nintendo helpline if you were really stuck and no one knew what to do. Yeah.
Where it's like, wait, you found a ghoul bone? Where there's that dog in the alley who says you need to collect 3 things and bring it to Major Dog. Maybe it's one of those. Dogs like bones, and I think it is one of those.
It is one of the three.
I found that shaman.
You have to get the ghoul bone, the dog collar, and leaves, enchanted leaves.
Yes.
And then you can summon God Dog.
God Dog.
But yeah, which in Ramon, after the fact, if I had spoken to Ramon before, Ramon was like, make sure you go to the graveyard, kill a lot of ghouls. Like, oh, well, all right. Too little, too late. I've already spent tons of time walking around just wondering what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, you talk to Glutman. I played music on mute because I was watching Dexter.
What?
So, like, I'm talking to him, and then, like, I look away, looking at Dexter kill somebody, and I look back, and I see those guys what they're doing is leading you away. But I thought I must have walked, and this was like a dance cutscene, and this is Jake, like, dancing in front of the band, like Chrono Trigger style. I'm like, okay, we'll watch it, and then all of a sudden I'm surrounded by, in like a car inbound.
Scrap cars.
It's like, what the fuck? What the...
Did you play the music at all?
I
sound
did.
on it all?
I did some. Whenever I go to like a new area, I would unmute it and listen to the music, and then pause it, and then do it again.
I loved the music in this game. I really, really did. The sound effects can go fuck themselves, but the music I thought was really good.
I wish this was a 10-spot game, because Mega Elixir would have made some very, very good remixes of this.
You read my mind. I was thinking that as I was playing. I was like, this music is awesome. I wish it were the 70th ranked game just so that Mega Elixir could do a song from it.
Well, just maybe Mega Elixir, here you go, guys. Just go ahead and do it anyway. I mean, if you do DuckTales, do gaming music, people would probably like this. Shadowrun remix.
I know at least 2 people who would.
We know 2 people who will watch anything you put on YouTube about Shadowrun. Once you get to the car yard, and then everyone else is sad face, down on their luck. I guess I should say there's that wounded shaman in the ghoul graveyard in one of the sarcophagus, the burial places. You have to use a slap patch on him. Right. If the heal spell will not work, and nothing will work on him except a slap patch.
I have a confession to make. I missed him.
I had to go back. I had looked later when I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to get this? Oh, slap patch that one guy. Use my slap patch. I have to wait till halfway through the game before I can buy another one and go back to find him. But because he allows you to he helps you get magic.
Yeah. I missed him. When I played this game, I played it without a guide because that's how I like to roll. But when I was done, when I reached the point where it's like, well, I'm done, I did go and read a little bit. And it was like, oh, well, I don't know how in the world I would have figured that out. How to free him from the catacomb. Because what do you have to do? You have to use
the scalpel to pry the door open.
I know. And that is one of those things where it's like, come on, really?
I wouldn't have thought about that. And there's this one part I had to use a guide for some of it. I tried doing I tried doing it straight.
Oh, I can't imagine doing it.
But after about 45 minutes to an hour, they'd be like, all right, fuck it. I've got to beat this game to talk about it. Let's roll.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, there's just one part later on where you have to hire a boatman to take you across to a volcano.
Yeah, I met that guy.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, sorry, that's haunted. Well, you have to go to a bar in another part of the town, ask about ice. Ask about ice delivery. So I guess ice may be slang for a drug. It never says so, but you have to ask about ice and you learn the word ice. And then later on in the game, you have to go back to him again, ask him about ice again for some reason. He's like, oh yeah, delivery driver's over there. Go talk to the ice delivery man. He's like, hey, you want some ice? Sure, I'll deliver it. It'll be 100 Nugen. Okay, sure. Where do you want it? He has to have it dropped off at the docks. And then the guy will give you a boat ride. I don't know how that makes any sense.
Yeah, how do you figure that out?
I don't know how you'd figure that out. Unless you're going to every person you see and asking them about every single word.
See, I'm glad you bring that up because that's a system we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah.
Is this dialogue system, which I think is cool because you don't see that in a lot of JRPGs or Japanese role-playing games. Someone asked me the other day what the hell we were talking about when we were talking about JRPGs.
Which I guess that's sort of a new term because I always just thought of them as
role-playing games.
That's all RPGs. That. But now it's become since more westernized, so you have to specifically state the hero who goes weak and becomes insurmountable and saves the world.
Right.
Japanese RPG.
Well, and that's the other thing that's interesting about this game was that it's not Japanese, it's Australian, which is weird to me. But regardless, The dialogue system in this game is really interesting. It's clumsy for 2013 because people have and developers have built on that. But I can imagine when this came out that this was breakthrough, where you can actually have multiple different conversations with NPCs based on the terminology you've picked up from other NPCs. I think it just kind of breaks down when it has to be so specific that you have to, like you said, talk to this guy about ice.
Yeah.
Well, you can't talk to that guy about ice maybe until someone else mentions it.
Yep.
So a guy down the street you talk to mentions ice. Now the option shows up in your dialogue box that you can go talk to everybody in the world about ice, hoping that one of them, it triggers a response where it's like, oh yeah, ice. I know a guy with a boat who's, that kind of stuff.
And they'll give you a trigger word.
Right.
For saying that trigger word, because those in their text box, the word that you learn and can actually fill out will be sort of in italics,
right.
bold and in italics, and then it's added to a increasing laundry list. And just going through and talking to each person, that list gets real long. So
fast.
if you don't know where to go or what to do, that gets extraordinarily tedious.
Yeah. Because man, when I got stuck, I knew what I had to do, and it was just like, I'm stuck. I'm going to have to go to every NPC and go down every item on this dialogue list until someone says something I haven't heard before.
Yep.
That was frustrating. Not going to lie. That is my least favorite part of this game.
And there's one part, like I did a Shadowrun challenge when I finished the game.
Okay.
Which I read it on a forum, so I did it.
Okay, what is it?
To finish the game with Kitsune, your companion. Because she can die really, really easily.
See, I never got her.
So to keep her alive through the whole game, she is the person that can turn into a dog and then turn back into a lady with like fox ears and a tail.
I was about to say, that doesn't make sense because Kitsune are foxes.
Kitsune, maybe she's a dog, maybe she's a fox. But you find her in a club, she's walking around transforming and singing and stuff like that, and she joins you.
Okay, so I saw her earlier in the game. I didn't realize that
she's the only companion that will stay with you throughout the whole game.
I see.
If you do a certain task.
Now, that brings up a good question. Did you hire anybody? Because you can hire Shadowrunners.
At the end, I hired people.
How did you like that? How did that work?
They're hard. It depends on who it is that they get. Kitsune, she's very hard to keep alive because they don't level up. You can give them equipment. They're, depending on their strength.
Yeah.
Like her strength is so low, she can only wear like a leather jacket and has 50 hit points. But has like,
and there's no way of raising those.
There's nothing you can do.
Gotcha.
You just have to keep on the ball, healing her, trying to keep the armor spell on her. It's difficult to keep her alive throughout the whole game.
Do you control the companions, or do they do their own thing?
They will just attack unless you tell them something different to do.
I see. We haven't really even said where the name Shadowrun comes from. And, that's not really a good way to put it. A Shadowrunner essentially is a mercenary. And who make their living in these areas, these cracks between the megacorps. And that's what I mean when I asked, did you hire any Shadowrunners? Did you hire any mercenaries?
There are way more than I thought. At the end of the game, it still tells you, here, all the Shadowrunners. There are like 12 or something like that. There are a lot. I think I got 4.
Yeah.
Like Kitsune, who you have to find her as a story point. I hired Steel Flight. He's an elf. I didn't have to worry about him. He was really strong, had heavy armor, lots of hit points. I hired Anders, who was he was a pretty weak fighter. He died on me a few times and I reset at the very last to try and, when I was going through the very end of it, I wanted to keep everybody alive.
Yeah.
So I ended up having Kitsune, Steel Flight, Anders, and one other person that I hired.
Which brings us back to your challenge. Were you able to keep her alive?
I kept her alive with the whole thing. At the end...
You see her boobs.
You see... Well, you finish off, you take out the computer at the end, and then as you run out to flee, to catch, like, the people that are, like, flying away, like, you have to catch the people in this, whatever kind of the industry is. As you're going to attack them, all your companions get killed except Kitsune. So no matter what, if you kept them alive, they automatically die at the end. Automatically, except her. I don't know why she's special, but she survives. And then you and her go after, and it ends.
Do you get married?
Maybe. I'm sure there's plenty of fan fiction out there.
Is that what we're gonna find out in the new Shadowrun game?
Yeah. Well, at the end, the big boss, you go through all the bosses again, and he's like, "Oh, it's not over, Jake. Wait for Shadowrun 2."
Does he really?
Yeah.
Like literally?
That's what he says at the end credits.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
He's a big dragon, Drake. But yeah, it required 2 spots of the game. I had to spend several hours grinding. I didn't mind it too bad.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I guess I was kind of raised on that a little bit with video games, so I don't mind grinding. It was enjoyable grinding for grinding, so.
I was disappointed because I knew going into this that this was not a JRPG. So I was really holding out that there was going to be no grinding. And I treated it like that up until the car yard. I was able to get to the car yard just fine without grinding, but then I had to do the arena fights because I needed money to pay King. King being the ruler of the car yard.
He won't let you out unless you pay him 4,000 new yen.
Right.
Which at that point is like a staggering amount.
Oh, yeah. So I got that pretty quick and then decided, I'm doing pretty good at these arena fights. Maybe I'll just fight King. Didn't beat him. Like, he just wiped the floor with me. And I was like, well, I had the money, but the money has been so hard to come by, I want to hold on to it.
Yeah.
So there's this little area in the car yard where enemies just keep spawning every time you reload the screen. So I did that a few times, and I was fine with it, and got karma, was able to raise my attributes. And I went to fight King again, and I was like, oh, I did better that time. Still didn't beat him. So I kept going back to that little section of the car yard to fight those guys, and it dawned on me, I was like, fuck, I'm grinding. Fuck, I'm doing it.
At that point, you have to grind for the money or grind to beat King. There's no way about it.
And that was kind of a turning point for me. I still enjoyed the game. I enjoy RPGs for the story. I do not like the grind.
Yeah.
I kind of got used to it because I played a lot of RPGs when I was younger, and it's part of it. But I guess I'm 31, dog. I'm 31 years old, man. I don't want to do that anymore.
Ain't nobody got time for this shit.
Exactly. It's 2013, man. I don't have time to sit down and fight a mage 85 times so I can get the fuck out of this car yard. What the fuck? Just tell me a story. That's what I'm in for. I don't know.
And then maybe if it had been sort of, the combat wasn't very challenging because you can't run and shoot at the same time.
Right.
So you just have to sort of buff yourself up enough that you can stand in one place and just get hit while you fire at the enemy.
Well,
the only difference coming when you learn magic or get a companion.
One thing that I liked a lot about it is it's not a direct overhead view. It's not a top-down view like a lot of traditional RPGs are. It's isometric, so you have 2 axes to worry about. Did you experience this? I don't know if there's any truth to this. This could be like fuzzy-ass Nintendo logic. But I found that I could use cover. Like, especially in the car yard in that little section, if I would get behind a car that was between a guy shooting me, that I would get hit far less. Any truth to that?
I found if I was too deep into cover, then I couldn't fire on the enemy.
Yeah.
So it seemed to be just as problematic for me hitting them, so I didn't find a whole lot of benefit to it.
Well, it's not really a matter of whether there's benefit or not. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't just imagining that putting a barrier between you and him had an effect.
It may have. I didn't notice.
I think it did, and I really liked that because that added an element of strategy that isn't in a lot of action RPGs of the time.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
I guess it wasn't a huge thing until like Gears of War made it a huge thing. Like cover, oh my god, cover.
Well, that and tactical games because it gave it more of a tactical feel. Like even Final Fantasy Tactics is kind of on that isometric view.
Yeah.
Where, your position really matters a lot more than how quickly you're able to move your character in, swing a sword, and then move out.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. If I had played it when it came out, like you said earlier, this would have just been, God, it would have been amazing. It would have been something to sink your teeth into and get a lot of time out of and just immerse yourself in. But it doesn't hold up as well. Still entertaining.
Yeah.
Still a good time. Still a good story. Like, did you get to the point where
Probably not.
the street doc, like you find a bumbling street doc who sets off a bomb in your head?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And that fucked me up because I was like, oh God, I gotta find someone to get this out of my head. So I go like running around trying to find someone to get this out of my head. Never do. So what I had to do was, okay, reload. Before I have that fucker set off the bomb in my head, I'm going to find another street doctor. So what I did was wander around until I found, Dr. Maplethorpe?
Maplethorpe.
And I realized that he could probably take it out of my head. So then I went all the way back to the bumbling doctor, got the bomb turned on, and then ran back to old Dr. Maplethorpe.
Yep.
Who hooked me up.
His secretary who has to open the door for you.
Right.
And then,
That's how I knew something was up there, because I was like, this is a street doc office, and there's a door I can't get through. So this is probably the guy who's going to take the bomb out of my head.
He'll sell you the boosted reflexes that make your enemies, delay for a second so you can trigger them.
Which were completely unaffordable for
Yeah.
me.
I don't think I ever bought it. I just knew it was there, and then I looked up what it did. Then there was another thing that gave you the leadership skill
What's that do?
that allows you to have multiple companions. The higher your leadership score is, like leadership and your charisma can have where you can have multiple companions.
I see.
Up to like more than I hired. Like you can have a lot of companions if you max out your leadership and your charisma. And then there's another skill, negotiation, which I never got, that allows you to hire them at lower cost.
I read about negotiation after I tried my hand at the game. And it's one of those things where you have to talk to one guy to get the negotiation word in your dialogue tree, and then talk to the arena master about negotiation, and he teaches you how to do it. It's one of those where it's like, I completely missed it because it's easily missed.
Yeah.
You can raise it to a point, I think, where it halves everything you buy.
Which there's a point in the game where money's important early on. Like if you want to get companions and help yourself, but later on I didn't find money to be that big of an issue. Did you get to where you could hack computers?
Yeah.
Put in your cyber deck?
Yeah.
What did you think of the computer mini game?
I liked it a lot because I was good at it.
Okay.
If I weren't good at it, I think it probably would have been extremely frustrating.
Yeah, I was extremely frustrated. Normally, I'm a puzzle guy. I'm good at puzzles.
I'm glad you bring it up, because when I was doing it, I was thinking to myself, wonder what Tyler thinks about this.
I feel like kind of a shitty deviation for me to go from what looked like, for the time, must have been good graphics and a good interface to fucking 8-bit walking around on squares. Like,
It's a little Minesweeper.
are you gonna?
Is what it
Yeah,
is.
it's like I've got Solitaire Minesweeper over here. I don't
Right?
need to have it in here too.
I don't know.
It just, I was not a fan. I didn't level up any of my computer skills until like I had to at the end, because you just can't. You don't have enough life, and you take too much damage unless you max that shit out in order to beat the game. But because I found it pretty enjoyable. I know at one point, okay, you collect all those items, you go and summon God Dog.
Yes.
And God Dog is, depending on what items you have, he will teach you magic spells. Well, he asks you, go kill the rat shaman for me. Kill the rat shaman, and then talk to me again.
The Rat King.
The Rat King. If you have Kitsune with you, Kitsune, and kill the rat shaman, and then she will prompt a special dialogue telling you about the vampires and the dark blade, and then she'll be like, you're really good. I should just stick with you. And then she's your permanent companion. She's the only one who won't leave you. Because when you get a companion, I think I mixed up, like your charisma and your leadership help you. I forget which one does what, but when you hire them on, they're sort of like Shadow in Final Fantasy VI. When you hire him later, he's only with you for a select amount of fights.
Yeah.
And the higher like your charisma score is, the longer they stay with you.
I see. Would they slit their mama's throat for a nickel?
For a nickel.
Okay.
Change that later on.
I know, and that infuriated me.
But yeah, Kitsune's the only one. She'll never leave you once. I feel like you shouldn't just die then because you're weak. She had very good magic. She had very strong magic. Her heal skill and her summon spirit were pretty high.
Yeah.
And I think I ended up looking up her stats later, and she has like the second strongest magic in the game. So she's a good perma companion.
You know, you brought up that we've already kind of talked about it, but that you wish you'd play this game as a kid. Mm-hmm. I also do, because I honestly think that of everything we played, this game would have changed me the most had I played it when it came out. Like,
I think
this
it would have
game
made a difference.
probably would have changed down the road a lot of the stuff that I didn't play. It probably would have turned me on to it.
Yeah.
This was a tough one for me because, I mean it, man. When I was playing this, I was like, damn, I wish I'd have played this as a kid, because this would have changed me for the better.
And looking at it, I don't know which came out first, but I assume the original Fallout came out before this.
Oh,
And
that's a good question.
they seem very similar. Shadowrun for Super NES feels like it was sort of Fallout on a console for console kids, because I was a console kid. I didn't have computer gaming growing up. I
No
wish I
PC.
did. I really wish I did. I got my computer right around Diablo 2 time.
Oh, wow.
So that tells you how much I missed out on. I really wish now that I would have been like Wiley, who...
You weren't playing Wolfenstein 3D while you watched Step by Step like I was?
No, sadly.
My neck still hurts from like sitting at the desk and craning my neck to watch TGIF, man. That was a ritual. I was really popular.
But overall, okay, the world, I gotta take a step back and try to look at objectively about all like the game mechanics and stuff for their time. Good. I thoroughly enjoyed playing. The first 2 hours were rough for me while I got adapted. Once I did, I thoroughly enjoyed it until the end, to whenever it just got kind of erratic.
Yeah.
Because you have to break into, you have to go to Drake's volcano lair. And when you go into his lair, like the vampire part, I enjoyed everything until you break into the corporate office. And then you have to break into a lot of computers in order to open the elevator to go down a floor, break into 4 more computers, get the elevator to go down a floor. But another, like, you do that like 5 or 6 floors.
Yeah.
And it's just like, come on, man. Come on. Because then it just becomes a kind of a, all right, how much damage you're going to take per computer? How much MP do I have to heal myself and for Kitsune to heal me?
Right.
How much I'm going to have left? Try to keep her. It would have been easier if I just let her die, because then I had to make sure I had enough healing
Slap patches.
to keep her. I didn't use slap patches. I just used magic. I probably should have used a lot of slap patches. That would have made it easier, but I was just busy trying to manage my MP to keep her and I alive. I thought it was really cool that you could fight King in the first place.
Yeah, I did too.
Because I wouldn't have thought that you could do that. You just have to ask that one guy, like, hey, what about King? Oh, you want to fight him? Sure, here he is.
Right? That actually reminds me, I didn't ask when you were talking about it, but how similar is Fallout to this game?
It looks similar. It's kind of on that tilted view. The first Fallout I played was Fallout 3. I'm a huge fan of 3 in New Vegas.
Sure, yeah.
1 and 2 are completely different looking.
Right.
Like, they still have the same kind of basis of the story and the interface with people, but like the combat and the world travel, totally different. It plays more like Shadowrun does.
Sure. Are they similar in tone? Like, I guess here's my question. I enjoyed Shadowrun. I would like to finish it. I plan on finishing it. Would I like Fallout?
Yes.
Okay.
If you can get it to work.
Okay.
That's what I was pissed off. I saw the bundle.
Yeah.
1, 2, and Tactics on Steam for like $6.
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah. Won't work.
Really?
Doesn't work. You have to patch it yourself, which I couldn't get the patch to work, or you have to shut down Explorer EXE. And the colors are all fucked up on Fallout. Like, to play it like a pristine start, I never was able to do it. I didn't finish it because I got frustrated with having to fuck with everything every time I wanted to play it.
I think there's a version on Good Old Games.
I read that afterward.
I don't know if it has the same problem.
The Good Old Game one is fixed.
Is it?
Yep. But the Steam one is not.
Okay. I may check it out, although not in Immature Gaming Month.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. I'd say even like, because it's dark and humorous too, and has all sorts of throwbacks and hidden things, and then of course,
Cool.
So I'd say they're pretty similar, although I think Shadowrun is as much about survival as Fallout, but they're pretty similar.
Okay, cool. Well, Tyler,
Yes, Dave.
I've got an important question for you.
Okay.
Everyone's been waiting for. If you were to give this game, I don't know, let's say a beard, what kind of beard do you think you'd give it?
You've seen the Hunger Games movie?
I have seen The Hunger Games. It stars 2 of Josh Nance's of Uniracers fame, 2 of his slots on his top 5 list, Jennifer Lawrence and Jennifer Lawrence.
See, I was trying to think of 2 male actors.
Woody Harrelson.
Woody
and
Harrelson
Woody
and
Harrelson.
the guy who plays the announcer, Stanley Tudyk,
Oh,
or Stanley Tucci, and well, I give it one of those fucked up futuristic style beards from the Hunger Games.
Okay.
Looks like a flame and it's kind of curled out
Right.
and ridiculous.
Okay. The face on fire.
Yeah, there you go. The face on fire.
If you were to give this game a pair of glasses, which are normally worn above the beard,
Normally.
where would you put them?
Well, I would put it on my face.
You put it on your face.
And I would give it a pair of
I did not ask that, Tyler.
a pair of shades that once you put them on, it completely disguises you from anyone recognizing you.
That's just silly.
that happens in Shadowrun.
I know. I
'Cause
love it. When you go back into the morgue wearing the sunglasses.
Yep, those doctors who fled from you do not recognize you at all.
They have degrees in medicine.
See, that reminded me of, to throw back to SNL, the Terry Hatcher episode.
Oh, Terry Hatcher.
Where whenever castmates put on glasses, she doesn't recognize them.
Nice.
So that's something for the show notes.
Nice. If I
Terry
can find
Hatcher's
it. SNL stuff is
hard
really hard to find.
It's all copyright. They keep they're on the fucking SNL shit about taking it
You
down.
gotta hack 6 computers in individual levels of 30 Rock in order to unlock SNL clips.
I've also got achievements.
Do you have achievements?
I do have achievements.
As usual, I do not, so I will come up with them, hopefully. What do you got?
The first one is one I did. The Kitsune Keeper.
Okay.
Keep Kitsune alive for the whole game.
Okay, I like it.
The second one is Your God is Dog.
Damn it. Yeah, that's good.
Learn all the spells from Dog.
Okay. How many spells does Dog have?
On top of my head, 5 or 6.
Okay.
The armor spell being the hardest. The last one you get.
Okay. You went through those really fast. That's not fair. We don't have a guest host to buy me time. I can do something lame with Dog the Bounty Hunter. I mean, that's a thing. There's a dog. I can do some kind of punny thing on ghouls. Like, ghouls just want to have fun or something.
That's not bad. I can do an army of 12. Recruit all 12 Shadowrunners at one point during the game.
See, I don't know. I like that, but I wouldn't.
Perfect Crime. Recruit and kill all Shadowrunners in the game. Perfect Crime being the heavy rain achievement.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Fail for me, but I'm not going to sit here and drag it out.
But overall, I'd recommend anyone who enjoys older games. Shadowrun's worth your time.
Yeah, if you're listening to this show,
if you listen to this whole time, Shadowrun, yeah. Well, Meg listens to this show. Meg would not like Shadowrun.
Okay, well, fair enough. Would you like to hear from some of the people who called us?
I would very much.
Hey, TADPOG. What's up? This is Tyler Dunnigan. Just got caught back up on all the episodes. Just had a baby. And got a couple of comments for you. First, from the Pilot Wings episode, Miller had made a comment about Tyler sulking with no shirt on, eating a plate full of banana runts. And I just wanted to let you know that shirtless or not, if you supply the runts, I'll come play the crap out of some Pilot Wings with you. Secondly, here recently you guys have been bringing up the paywall again. And I just thought I'd share this comment. I don't know if this shows that you guys are doing a good job or that I'm just stupid, but probably around episode 2 or 3, maybe 4, somewhere in there, I actually got online and looked for your paywall, trying to find where it was to actually put the payment in and how to join into that. And then after half an hour or so of looking, I realized that you guys were just joking. But keep up the good work, and if that paywall ever happens, make sure you let a real comment on it so we can all know. But keep it up, guys. You're doing awesome.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. And I have no problem taking your money if you'd like to give us some.
We also got a lot of questions about what happened to your Mondo sponsorship.
Yeah, we did.
So, we got bluffs on bluffs on bluffs. The second line's flashing. Caller number 2.
Oh, yeah.
You're on.
Hey, TADPOG. This is Yuki's cousin calling again. Sort of thank you guys for answering my question last week. I find it interesting that the common outlets for video game rating is the 2 troller twist. It's something that I've done in the past and probably will do in the future, and it's just interesting that it sounds like that was also the outlet that you guys chose for your rage when not kicking cook boxes. My burning question this week is actually I have 2. My first is the standard, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck, and why? And my second burning question is, if you could see a fighting game pitting 2 entertainment universes against one another, so similar to Marvel versus Capcom, what 2 franchises would you like to see? You know, if you're going to pit the Naruto universe against X-Men, or you know, what would be your choice? So I look forward to hearing that from you guys, and I will be listening to Nicole. And regarding my aunt, Yuki's mama, she actually went into witness protection years ago regarding an incident that I can't really discuss. So, we don't really know where she is. Yuki's pretty broken up about that, but he got over it, and he's living a happy life now. So, sorry guys, can't help you out with that, and I'll be listening.
Please give Yuki our condolences, first and foremost. And second of all, you've totally blown Yuki's mama's cover. She's going to have to relocate now, uproot all over again.
In response to the question,
what?
I would fight the duck-sized horse.
No, that's not how it works, my friend.
The horse-sized duck. The horse-sized duck. And I would tame it and make it my mount.
Okay. For me, it depends. Are there weapons or no weapons? If there are weapons, then it's got to be horse-sized duck. Because you can kill it fast, right?
Yeah.
If there's no weapons, it's got to be a whole bunch of duck-sized horses. Because you just step on them.
Yeah.
And they're horses. They can't climb, right? Horses can't climb.
And they go upstairs but not downstairs? Oh, that's cows. I don't know. And the other question, what two franchises would want to see in a fighting game? Like Marvel vs. Capcom?
Yeah, square off one against one another.
That's a good question. Probably going to have to say Game of Thrones versus Wheel of Time.
Okay. All right.
Or Game of Thrones versus Final Fantasy. Whichever.
Okay. Let's see. I was thinking, you've kind of got me on this 90s cartoon kick. Because now all I can think about is who would win in a fight if they were the same size. Okay, they have to be the same size. That's important. The Rescue Rangers or the cast from Tailspin.
If I can get those air jugglers with Cloud Kicker,
I'm telling you, man.
Epic.
And also, I think just like the creepy factor of giant Chip and Dale would be like
giant zipper.
Just oh man, there has to be a sand check involved for that.
I've seen mock-ups where somebody just drew what it would look like for like the Wheel of Time roster. Did you see that on Reddit?
I saw a Game of Thrones one. I didn't realize there was a Wheel of Time.
I meant Game of Thrones. Wheel of Time lends itself better since it's higher fantasy, but I saw the mock-up of Robb Stark versus Khal Drogo.
If I can find that, I will post it in the show notes because it is awesome.
Yeah.
Caller number 3, you're on the air.
TADPOG, it's Drew. I just wanted to call in to say that I love the show and you should make more shows. Thank you.
No, fuck you, we're done.
No. No, we like Drew.
Yeah.
Remember? We like Drew.
Yeah, we do.
He's the good Drew.
We'll continue. Yeah, not that bad Drew that keeps stalking us.
That's the franchise I want to see. Drew versus Drew.
Fine. We will continue to make shows.
I guess. We really don't like doing it, but, Caller number 4?
Next caller. For 4.
Hey, Tadpog, it's Phil from Salem, perhaps better known as one half of Filthy Phil and Rub Gooch in the Morning. Just wanted to weigh in on the music question from the X-Men episode last week. I have my own personal favorite in Castlevania 4. I think that still holds up pretty well today. I also had an idea. I figure with the announced reboot of the DuckTales game, perhaps someone could get around to making a Shaq sequel. I've been kicking around an idea in my head for Artest Quando, where you get to play as Ron Artest, battle fans and members of the Detroit Pistons, and maybe even face a four-armed Goro like David Stern at the end of the game. I don't know. Still in development. Give me your thoughts. Now let's kick it back to Tyler and Dave for their Gooter of the Week.
Thanks, Philly Phil.
So my Gooter of the Week, of course, is Liam Neeson, because he has the biggest gooter, I think. So I hear.
Yeah, my Gooter of the Week is your Gooter.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah,
it's just the right size.
We're sweet and weird.
I'm glad that you brought up Castlevania because, again, not a Super Nintendo game, but I would have said Symphony of the Night.
My favorite Castlevania game is Castlevania Portrait of Ruin for the DS.
Well, I mean for soundtrack. Because Dykes' question is, excluding the Final Fantasy series and whatnot, what would be your favorite? And when we were talking, I completely forgot about Symphony of the Night and how much I love that music.
Yeah, okay. I misunderstood the question. Yeah. Symphony of the Night. That's true. That's totally true.
Ready for it?
I'll get you one of these Steam keys someday soon, Phil. I know I keep missing them. It's like ah.
I want to do a couple Steam keys on Twitter as well.
That's good. That's good.
So if you're not following us on Twitter, you can at @TADPOG_podcast. It's cumbersome, I know. Got another call, Tyler. Last one.
Okay.
You ready for it?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Hey, it's Ramon. Hey, listen, Shadowrun's got to be one of my favorite SNES games of all time. I'm glad you guys are doing it. I'm excited about the kind of green-lit reboot that they're doing. It's going to be out later next month. Shadowrun Returns. Basically, this is it. Shadowrun is if you don't know what you're doing ahead of time, sometimes the game can kind of lead you, in places that you feel like the story is not being held up. So you kind of have to, in some places, you kind of have to go with the guide. But I'm going to give you some tips and tricks. First of all, carry lots of grenades. It's very important. Second of all, get that damn bomb out of your head. And third of all, whatever you do,
don't cut a deal with a dragon? Question mark?
What, Ramon? What are we gonna do? I never used grenades.
Nor did I.
Probably should have. I
And
know.
yeah.
One guy tried to sell them to me, and I was like, "That's really expensive. I'm not gonna buy those."
Right.
I forgot about it.
Same here.
Got the bomb out of my head.
Yeah, I told you my bomb story.
I know Ramon had shown interest in hosting this episode, but we couldn't get it to work out. But glad he loved the game. Glad he listened. Glad he called.
Yep. Thanks for calling, buddy.
I've got a whole bunch of thanks to run through real quick because I know we're going long.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so Facebook shares. Josh Nance, Nicole Nance, Jennifer Evans, David Dykes, Kevin Link, Ramon Paducah III, Jacob York, and TADPOG.
TADPOG.
Shameless self-promotion. Yeah, Jacob shared us on Facebook and retweeted us. He must have, I don't know what it was about these shows he was all about. And then for retweets, Ramon, Drew Rowland, Jennifer Evans, Lord Mike of Purdue, Leva Bates, Jacob York, Laura Ammons, and still wants to fuck us, Ingrid Roy.
Thank you, Ingrid Roy.
Still.
Someone wants to fuck us.
Someone does. Womp womp.
We've been doing this show we're 30 now. We're 30.
Yeah.
We're 30 now, and only one person wants to fuck us. I don't understand. And by that, I mean 30th episode, by the way, in case no one knows what the fuck I'm talking about, because I'm being extremely cryptic.
We're 30. It's like, my birthday's next week, and I'll be 29.
And aren't you over 30, asshole? Yeah, I mean episodes.
You average us together, we're 30. Just in case we didn't do it before, I want to thank Paul Kluhl for 5-star review.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. I imagine next week we will announce.
Yeah, what's the deal with Matt's package?
So next week's the deadline. We'll look at all our 5-star reviews, put them all in a hat, draw them out of the hat.
What do they have to do? What do they have to do for Matt's package, Tyler?
They got to give a good 5-star review.
On iTunes?
On iTunes. On iTunes.
That seems like a lot of work.
It's not. It's really not.
Is it worth it to a chance to win these figurines?
It's totally worth it. This is very much like the Dewey Cox song talking about weed.
Okay, so we're cutting them off in a week. What you're saying is get your 5-star iTunes reviews in, or there's no chance you're going to win these figurines.
Yep, and then once we draw your name, if you want it, give us your address. Just tell us where you live.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just tell us.
It's fine.
Tell us where you live.
We'll see if Ingrid's not the only one who wants to fuck us.
Since last week, I also want to thank J Cobb, DK Winter, DKC Winter. There you go. DKC Winter and Plane Lover. 5-star reviews, all in for the drawing. If Jacob wins, I'm gonna be pissed.
If Jacob wins, sorry, buddy, you don't win.
Eerily Silent.
Yeah.
I want to say those drunk fuckers that called in last week, haven't heard from them since.
I hope they made it.
And I want to give a special shout outs. Retail Hell, Alan Applegate.
Yeah.
He approached us about being in one of his online comics. You can find Retail Hell on Facebook.
Yep, we'll have a link to that in the show notes.
Yep. Everybody check it out. It's humorous. It's pretty. It's good.
I've enjoyed it so far.
We got a special TADPOG postcard in from Laura Ammons.
We did?
We did. I haven't shown it to you yet, but it's at my house.
What is it?
It's a postcard. It's got a fat lady on it in Florida. It's like, hey, TADPOG.
She knows us.
He does. He does. We got our number. And then I just want to bring it up. I was looking through his art today, John Sullivan's Mario Italiano.
Yeah.
I really, really love it. He's done good art for our show.
Yeah.
And just his site, I just love his art style.
Yeah,
so I just
I
want
do
to
too.
reinforce people should check that out.
We'll have a link to that in the show notes as well. Also, wanted to mention, because we kind of forgot, Eli called us as well. Mm-hmm. So he asked us a question about BioShock Infinite that we really want to answer, but we can't answer on this episode because it is kind of spoilery.
Yeah, it's spoilery, and his message was long. Our reply is going to be long.
Yeah.
We'll save it for like a special episode and talk about it.
But regardless, thanks for calling, Eli. We do appreciate it. Oh, hey, by the way, if someone wants to call us, they can.
Oh, well, shit. How do they do that?
Well,
They
Tyler,
pick up one of their phone machines.
they're going to need a credit stick first.
Okay, credits. Yeah, good.
You got to get the credit stick before you call. You can call us at area code 270-883-2555.
And thanks everybody for listening. You can find the show on iTunes or Stitcher so you don't miss an episode. The next one we'll be talking about is IGN's 76th ranked game, Soul Blazer.
Soul Blazer.
It's a very early 90s title, Soul Blazer.
Yeah.
While you're there, don't forget to subscribe, give the show a 5-star rating, write a review, maybe win a prize. Keep the gun out of Dave's mouth. Bunch of things at once. So again, thanks to everybody that called in, retweeted Facebook. We love it. Keep the gun out of Dave's mouth.
Please. Don't worry, though. We will be back next week. Have we failed you yet? We'll be 31 next week.
Oh, shit.
In the meantime, if you can't wait for more TADPOG, you can leave us feedback on tadpog.com, or why not find us on Facebook at facebook.com/tadpog. Our intro song, Tyler, is Moves by Sycamore Drive. A link to that track can be found in the show notes on tadpog.com.
Check out the show notes, people. It's good. It's good.
We don't get a lot of hits on the site, so I'm kind of actually thinking about not doing the show notes anymore.
That breaks my heart.
Because it kind of feels like a waste of time.
Everybody, if you like the show notes, let Dave know. Let Dave know. I enjoy the show notes. I tell him. Keeps the gun out of my mouth.
Yeah. Well, we each have our crutch. That's a show.
We're done. That's Jacob York put some stuff on my Facebook wall I interrupted Tadpog.
Fucker.